up until later in qualifying.
Alright, cool.
Okay. Right.
Good evening, everyone. If you are watching after the fact, then please do feel free to skip ahead to qualifying as we get the rest of the drivers into the lobby and the streams all up and running for you. I'll be with you in just a moment. I hope they keep the licensed music in next year's game. I don't know. I just enjoy it. It's just
I've never had it on.
makes the loading screens and stuff less boring. I mean, it's not exactly to my music taste, but you know,
Yeah.
some of it's pretty good. What am I looking for? I'm looking for something. I can't find it. Have I scrolled past it? Where is it? Ah, there it is. Commentator streams channel. Always lose it.
Start my stream as well. And then we'll get going.
Oh, how long was that tea there? God.
Right, we are in Belgium. All round 2 of 10.
Lawson out here trying to manifest in the chat. He will finish this race. Let's hope so. You came so close on Friday. Let's see if you can get all the way to the checkered flag. I'm sure you can do it.
Well, he's championship leader, so no pressure, Lawrence.
No, LB, sorry, Lawson in the chat.
Oh, yeah,
Lawrence.
sorry, Lawson, LB. Yeah, what is it, 4 times?
Oh dear. Many times. Oh yeah, even in last season's Belgium Grand Prix. Oh my God, I'd forgotten about that completely.
We're just before the line.
Yeah. Oh, one of the highlights of the season. Oh gosh. Hello Lifebout. Hello, hello, hello. Seven people watching, only 1 like so far. Get those likes on the stream, guys. It really does help me out. Come on.
Unbelievable.
I know, right? I know. I'll be watching. I'll be keeping a keen eye on those likes as we go through. But yes, hello, 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 everybody. I'm back. You know, I was putting all the stuff together in the playlist on my channel today, and I was looking back and I was thinking, God, I've missed so many of these races because I remembered there was a whole like 2 months where I had no internet, so I had to like scavenge them off of your channel, Ghost, and put them all in one place. Rick reckons LB won't finish again. Lifebound, imagine not liking. Yes, I know. I know, it's awful, isn't it? LB says we don't need to talk about that race. Hopefully we won't have to bring it up again. But that fate is yet to be decided on the racetrack. Here we go then. Let me get up the usual spiel. I do spend great care writing these comm scripts. But anyway, good evening everyone and welcome back to APPF1 Tier 2 for tonight's dose of racing action. I'm SUMO, your commentator this evening, back finally for Tier 2 in 2023 after missing last week's opening race. And joining me as always is the no, he's more than that now, 6-time, I don't know how many sprint championships you got now, but you got a Tier 1 as well. But it's my amazing co-commentator Ghost. How you doing, buddy?
And Elite, don't forget Elite.
And Elite as well, gosh. Somebody stop this man.
No. It's good to be back with you, Sumo, here in Tier 2. It's been a while. I know we've been in ESRL a couple times the last couple of weeks, but here in Tier 2 it's been a bit longer, so it's good to be back. And yeah, we had a decent opener last week. A lot of driver errors. I think some people were very rusty last week from the holiday break, so we'll see if they can get themselves into gear, because Spa is extremely punishing for the smallest of errors.
Yeah, certainly is. Yeah, being back is great. It's like slipping on an old pair of slippers and finding them to be just as comfortable as they were before. Anyway, our drivers, as Go said, they take on the challenge of Spa-Francorchamps this evening, an incredible track nestled in the Ardennes forests of Belgium that has held GP races in Formula 1 almost every year since 1985. This 7.004 kilometre circuit has 20 corners, 9 to the left and 10 to the right, and is a venue that is rightly counted among many drivers' favourites. Any thoughts on the track, Ghost? I know you gave a few a minute ago, but any more?
It's it's not one of my favourites historically to drive, but to spectate, to watch. Oh, what a track! Not just for the racing, but just the sheer spectacle of Spa. You've got, of course, Eau Rouge and Raidillon as the main draw, but just the whole track is so excuse me, is so it just has this air of it's difficult to describe. But you know what I mean, right? There's this je ne sais quoi about it.
Yeah, certainly is. It's one of the big ones on the Formula 1 calendar, and it'd be a shame to go without it, I think, in a season. Maybe do a little less rain as Sox goes for a spin. I've also got reports that the race will go from dry to wet conditions, so a repeat of Friday's Tier 1 race perhaps on the cards. Anyway, we turn our attention towards the championship now, with the Mercedes of Lawrence leading the way and starting the season off right after winning in the Netherlands last time out. Mr. J-Man and Pommy Alex followed behind, with the Australian eager to defend his championship. 6 points separate the top three, and there are many races left to go. Red Bull lead the way by 36 points, followed by Mercedes on 23 and Alpine on 18. Too early to see a potential champion emerge just yet. Any thoughts, Ghost?
Yeah, Lawrence has started off the season strong, as he did last season, after a great win in the Netherlands, holding off Mr. J-Man, who had also a fantastic race. The Belgian has switched to manual gears for this season, and it seems to have really helped him. He said in the interviews last week that it helped him to concentrate more, and he was more focused with himself and the car, and he was able to make fewer mistakes. And we saw that last week. Not a single major error from Mr. J-Man, which is something we're used to seeing so often from him, I'm afraid to say, in previous seasons. So I think he could be a real title challenger this season. And then, of course, we had Pommy Alex out of absolutely nowhere, after it looked like he was having an absolutely horrific race, somehow squeezed out a podium. And that, well, it's what we used to see from Tinoz back in the day a few seasons ago when he won the Tier 2 championship, and it's just what champions do.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I'm sure we're in for quite the championship, as Sox is going to be the first driver to set a lap here around Spa-Francorchamps. He's coming through Les Combes now, and it's a bit of a I don't know the word anymore. It's a bit of a shaky run through that chicane there, and down towards Brussels goes the Haas. Not going to be the best of laps, I think, for Sox, who has been in Tier 1 for a couple of races and is trying his luck here in Tier 2 to see if it will suit him a little bit better. Will you be wrong? Only time will tell, Rick. Fando, I think that's Tito Man, for anybody wondering. His quali goal was P7, so good luck with that. Watch that man in the Williams.
Sox spins. And that's really distracted Lawrence, who was just behind him, and I think that's cost the current championship leader at least a few tenths there, as he sort of backed off to avoid hitting the Haas. So, annoying that one for Lawrence, but he's still going to come across the line to set a banker. No, he's not. He's invalidated. That's really unlucky.
Yeah, terribly unlucky for Lawrence. I think Darth Nihilius is making his way through, another driver who has had a couple races in Tier 1 and is again also trying his luck down here in the lower tier to see if he can get himself in a bit more of a more comfortable position to race in. He's in the Papaya McLaren. He might be setting the initial pace here as he comes through the bus stop chicane. No, he's into the pits.
Well, Sox sets a lap, but obviously that's not a representative time. Pommy Alex goes a bit deep and ruins his lap, so people struggling to set a lap to begin with. Femi Thrustmaster was one driver who was very strong in qualifying last week as well. He really impressed, nearly got himself onto pole, and here he comes round the final corner. The Cameroonian driver looking to make amends for what was a disappointing race last week. 44.8 is the initial pace.
That's not a bad time from the Alfa Romeo. Mr. J-Man goes that little bit quicker by a couple hundredths, with little Manny Man sitting a 46.4. I'll be interested to see what the Alpine team can do. Muhiti and Pommy Alex, or championship winning duo from last season, switching over to Alpine as LB goes into the 44 freeze.
Yeah, that's much more like it from LB. I think he's going to be very difficult to beat to pole position today, as with most days. But it's his race pace, which isn't usually on par with how much he dominates in qualifying. So we'll see how it goes. But I think definitely Mr. J-Man has certainly more pace in him.
Yeah, certainly so. Sox is making his way through Blanchimont now, and he's on a bit of a faster time than his original banker, but he did have that spin, remember, so this is still his first lap, really, to see what he can do. He's coming through the bus stop now. It's not looking like a bad time for the Haas. All he's got to do is nail this final corner, making it round. It's a lot more difficult than it looks. Not the quickest of times from the Haas, but I'm sure he'll be able to find some more time out there following him through. That's Fido Man maybe? No, yes it was a 50.9, so he's currently his quali goal of P7, but there are still 6 drivers left to set a lap.
Yeah, it's drivers struggling to really hit the limits on this track. I mean, I know for sure from the elite race on Sunday, I missed out on pole by I think a couple of tenths to aces, but I knew because the second lap I was 6.5 tenths up, but I invalidated at Pouon. So it's so difficult to nail every single corner because it's such a long track. It's more of an endurance lap than anything else.
Yeah, it certainly is, and in these cars, the curbs really are dangerous. I was doing a few laps just to get some screenshots for the thumbnail a bit later, and I was struggling at a few corners, but took to it like a duck to water. Hello, Ash, and as you join us as Tyr spins around on his lap there as he's coming through Stavilo 2. Very easy to do. The rear end really does get unsettled if your setup isn't just right through there.
Yeah,
Man on a much faster lap, Ghost. He's just set purple sector 2s. He's got not much battery left as he's coming through, though, so he might see an improvement here.
Let's see. Yeah, that battery is going to really hurt him. He's going to lose a couple of tenths down towards bus stop as he breaks for the corner You've got to really commit to your braking at bus stop, otherwise you lose a huge amount of time. Down towards the line, it's a 45.4, so, which puts him up to P4. But I think, again, there's more pace in that Williams for sure. As we've got Crozer also on a lap. I think he's backed out of that one. Is Lawrence still on a lap? He is. He's coming up to Pouon.
Yes, through Pawn, such a corner. You've got to be so committed through there. It's a long left-hander and it's flat out 7th gear through and then up to 8th gear as you get the power back on. It's just a quick shift to go through that corner toward the left and making his way through the Camper chicane and down towards Stavilo, number 1, to cross the timing line of Sector 2. Careful not to go too far outside the track limits, and it's looking good. No purple sectors at the moment, but he's still yet to set a time, so we'll ignore any sector times being spotted at the moment.
Yeah, here comes Lawrence now, down towards bus stop. Where's he going to brake? It's going to be just before the 100. That's where you need to be. And down towards the final few corners. Lawrence, of course, with no line. Down towards the finish line. 44.8 puts him P4, which is not far off at all. And he's definitely got more pace there. So keep an eye on the championship leader.
Muhiti has he's on a second out lap, it seems, so keep an eye on that Alpine. This man really impressed me last season, and has really just been getting better and better as he's been here in Tier 2 with us, the Turkish driver. And if it weren't for scheduling conflicts, he would have been in with a shot of winning the championship last season, but it went to his teammate instead.
And what a way it was for Pomialex to win it. The last race, he needed to win the race, and he made some outrageous overtakes. Got caught up in a crash on lap 1, and managed to take the win. Darth Nihilius finally sets a lap and puts him up to P3. Not a bad showing at all.
Here comes our defending champion now, Pomialex, at the final corner. This isn't looking like a bad time for the Australian. He would have wanted to go a bit faster than that, I think. They are 45.5 for Pomialex as he crosses the line. Plenty of time to improve upon that lap. Here comes J-Man. Final couple of corners. Let's see what he can do in that Red Bull. No, he's on a slower lap again, so he'll be going around. Certainly not on a 2-minute 56 will he get anywhere near pole position.
Indeed, indeed. Yes, Ash, it did rain in the first round, but very, very late. It was dry all the way through, and then it started to rain with about 2 or 3 laps to go, and everyone had to pit for inters. One person who got caught out in it was JBS Steve, and oh no, Darth Nihilius getting in the way of Muhiti's lap. That's going to be definitely reported, I think, from Muhiti. Was it Socks?
Yeah.
Yeah, you might be right there. I thought it was a McLaren.
No, it's a Haas, definitely a Haas.
I must be colourblind. Well, Muhiti coming down towards the final corner now. And he's gone very deep there. That's going to lose him another couple tenths. And yeah, the Turkish driver's got a lot more pace, but hasn't been able to find it. And even with all of that traffic and the mistake at bus stop, he's still P6. So clearly more to come from Muhiti.
Yeah, certainly. So, hello, Aaron Harris. Yes, we are live here. We have got... Oh, Darth Nihilius is a bit of a crash in the pit lane, meanwhile. Who's that coming across the line? Is that Pomialex? He's invalidated his lap, though, so he'll be making his way into the pits. But yes, to answer your question, we are indeed live. Not actually in Belgium, of course. That'd be a bit difficult. But yes, we are covering Tier 2 as it is happening. Who have we got? It's not Manny Man on a lap. He is, but he's a bit
Mr.
further
J-Man
back.
coming to the end of his lap. It's his home Grand Prix, of course, here in Belgium. It's a 44.5, much closer to LB, but still not within earshot of pole. 1.8 tenths off in the end. Tier is also on a lap. He's got traffic ahead. I think that is Socks again. As Socks goes very deep. Is Tier going to get caught up here? I think Socks might be on a lap, which is why he's getting in the way of people, but there we go. He's gotten out the way, and Tier goes on to the end of Sector 2. Hopefully that didn't distract him too much.
I was about to say, seen rain in Saudi. I mean, it's possible. Yeah. I mean, rain is possible anywhere, really. I mean, in real life, they were saying an interesting fact. It's just as it's as likely as is to a sandstorm as it is to rain or something like that. Or maybe that's the other way around. But you get the point. Like, there can be rain in places like the Middle East and stuff like that. It's not entirely impossible, but Tier's going to come across the line to set his first lap of the evening. It's a 45.5. He goes just behind his teammate.
Yeah, not bad from Tier, especially after having a spin. It's really wrecks your confidence, but I don't think he's got time for another lap. It's going to be very close. That's why he's going as fast as he can on this in-lap, because only 4 minutes left in the session, and of course a very, very long lap around here.
Yeah, one man out on track struggling right now is Krauser, still not to set a lap. Krauser has had his moments here in Tier 2, but he's not always been the luckiest of drivers. I think with a little bit more consistency, Krauser could be seeing himself much further up the grid than he is at the moment, but he's got a bit of time to redeem himself and get a lap in.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously missed the first few minutes of qualifying as well, which didn't help him. But he also had a race last week which ended at turn 2. So he's got a lot of pride to make up after last week. So I really hope that he can get himself at least a respectable time on the grid. As Tito Man, I think, is going to be the next to set up. JBS Steve has retired. He's spun. He's out at Radion, it looks like, on the track map, so he's not going to go any faster as Tito Man comes up to bus stop to set his lap. No, he's into the pits. He's not happy with that one.
No, evidently not. Pommy Alex, he's setting up. No, he's on lots of people taking second out laps here, trying to burn off some of that fuel, perhaps. You do get a lot more fuel than is necessary when around this circuit, I find. In comes Tier as well after his lap. He'll have just enough time to get in and out again, I think.
Very, very close. I think sort of once it hits 2 minutes, that's too late. So very close for Tier. It will be Pommy Alex opens the DRS after Radion all the way down this long straight, and now down towards, is this Les Combes, I think? In the Alpine, and through Sector 1 he is about half a tenth down on his previous best, so maybe some more time to find.
Daphne Hillius is a few seconds up the road from him. He's approaching Sox. He's coming through Pouon now in that McLaren. He's looking pretty cool. Tier is out. I think that's in the pit lane now. I think he might have retired in there, so that's Tier done for the evening. But coming through the Campos chicane is the McLaren of Daphne Hillius. Man who's come over from Tier 1, could look to impress on his first race here in Tier 2. Let's see, 7 tenths up on his current time. This is looking pretty good for provisional pole position at the minute. Could he beat LB to the post in this McLaren? Coming through Blanchimont now, down toward the bus stop chicane. Just that chicane to nail.
Indeed, and Daphne Hillius, the Mexican driver, coming up to bus stop now. It looks pretty good to me. There were more woes, by the way, for Pommy Alex. He invalidated again as Daphne Hillius at 43.8. I don't see anyone beating that.
No, not at all, but we could. There's always room for some upset. Here comes Lawrence. He's 16.5 as he comes through Blanchimont at the moment, but he's on a slow lap. I think he's going to go one more time, it seems. Yeah, he's got just enough time to do it, so he was on a second out lap like so many other drivers. Oh, Krauser's on an out lap as well. Can he make the line? He should do. He's got 48 seconds to get there. It should be absolutely fine. How about LB? Is LB on a lap? It looks like he is.
Yeah, he was a tenth up there. Now Sector 2, 5.5 tenths up. He could beat it after all. LB coming up to bus stop now. This pole time is dropping very quickly. Mr. J-Man's on a lap as well. No, he's not. He's coming to the end of his out lap, so keep an eye on him. LB down towards bus stop in the Aston Martin. He missed round 1. He's looking to make amends here by taking pole position from the Tier 1 reserve down towards the finish line. 43.811 just about beats it. 0.033 in it.
Incredibly close. How about Femi Thrustmaster in the Alfa Romeo? He'll be the first to get the checkered flag, other than Fido Man and Little Manny Man. No improvement from the Alfa Romeo. Let's move back. We've got Muhiti, the Turkish driver, 7/10ths up on his previous best. A 45.4 is much. Is not to the liking of Muhiti. I think he's much better than that. He comes through bus stop now, not as quick as he would have wanted to be. It's a 44.6, putting him P4.
Yeah, indeed. Mr. J-Man, I'm just watching. He's half a tenth down in Sector 1, but it's so easy to lose time in Turn 1. But he's invalidated in Sector 2, so he is not going to go any faster. But I think he should be secure in P3 unless Lawrence can do anything about it. The championship leader coming up to bus stop. It's looking like a good lap. He was half a second up out of Sector 2, down towards the final chicane. And down towards the line, be careful not to spin on exit. He's done that. Down towards the line, 44.2. He goes into P3, and that's a great pressure lap from Lawrence.
Pommy Alex moves up to P7, so Fido Man doesn't quite get his qualifying prediction that he would have wanted, just missing it by one spot. I think there's a couple drivers left on track. Here comes Krauser through Blanchimont in that Ferrari, not invalidated this time. He's got two more corners to make sure he keeps it in between those white lines. No clue where this lap is going to place the Ferrari, but it's looking like it could be to the bottom of the top 10.
Yeah, that's his last effort, and it's 11th for Krauser, which he's going to be disappointed with, I think. But yeah, it will be LB on pole position.
Wow. LB has come out. The man worried that he's not going to finish the race. He's got a pole position by 300ths of a second from the reserve of the McLaren of Darth and Hilius, with the championship leader P3, Mr. J-Man, his current championship rival P4, and Pommy Alex sitting P7, your top three of the championship thus far. Alpine looking set to have a decent race, position 5 and 7, if they can make up some spaces. But the question is, who is going to be ready for the rain?
Indeed. Well, LB, I mean, he's shown his pace in qualifying again, but it's whether he can cope with the race pace, that's the question. Because in the past, the answer has been no. So we'll have to see what he can do, especially on this track, which he hates so much.
Yeah, certainly. So let's run you through our qualifying order this evening. LB is your man on pole position, joined on the front row by Daphne Hilius, the reserve from Tier 1. Lawrence and Mr. J-Man make up the second row, with Muhiti and Femi Thrustmaster making up the top 6. Pommy Alex, your defending champion, sits P7 with Fido Man P8. Tier and JBS Steve round up the top 10, with Krauser, Little Manny Man and Socks rounding off the rest of the grid.
Well, I think we've got a good race in store here. Dry to wet conditions as well. I wonder when that rain is going to come.
And I wonder how many safety cars we will have here in Tier 2. Hopefully less than Tier 1. We had, what, about 3? Maybe 4? I want to say it was 3, and a VSC, perhaps.
Yes, it was... I mean, we had a massive crash in Elite as well on Sunday. Oh. It was basically Spa 1998.
Oh, gosh.
It was in the same place on the track as well. Basically, 3 people got sandwiched on the run to Eau Rouge, and everyone behind ploughed straight into them.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, it was absolute chaos on the first lap. So hopefully we don't see a repeat of that here in Tier 2.
Hopefully not. We'll have to look back and I'll have to look back at that and have a look at this tremendous crash. Yeah. Anyway, we've got about 20 seconds until the session starts. Any predictions, Ghost?
I think Daphne Hilius will win the race very comfortably, with Lawrence in P2. And P3, I'm going to go with... I'm going to go with Muhiti for P3.
There we go. Then that's predictions. I agree. I think. Do I say LB finishes this race? That is the question. You know what? I'll say Daft Hilius wins this race. Lawrence P2 and LB will come home in P3. I think he's going to finish this race. I believe in him.
I don't.
Yeah, I think he could finish this race. If not, at least he'll be classified, perhaps. But yes. Gosh, warming up those tyres. He leads everybody around. It's a long old lap round here. Long old lap. Let's have a look at tyres then. So it looks almost like an equal split for strategies at the minute. LB starting on the hard tyres with the 4 drivers behind him, all on the mediums. Then Femi and Pommy are on the hard tyres as well. So split strategy from Alpine at the moment, with Fido Man opting for the medium tyre and his teammate Tier on the hards. The 2 Ferraris starting on the hard tyres, with Little Manny Man and Sox both on mediums as well. So a decent split of strategies through here, Ghost. It seemed that the hard tyres can go quite a long way, as who was it that proved that? Somebody. It was Vetsku. Was it Vetsku? No, it was someone else. I'm thinking there was somebody in a Williams, right?
Well,
am I thinking of a different race, Ghost?
Well, I can say that me in a Williams in Elite, I went from lap 1 because I was involved in that massive crash. I pitted onto hards, went all the way to the end. So they will go a long, long way. They were on about 73 at the end as well, so it wasn't too bad. We had a couple of safety cars in between, but yeah, they can go a long way. So I reckon, depending when the rain arrives, the hards could be the right choice, because if the rain arrives, say, lap 17 or 18 or so, those on hard tyres will not have to stop. They can go straight onto the inters at the end. So yeah, interesting to see what happens here.
Yeah, very interesting indeed. But we're crawling our way through toward the bus stop chicane now. Everyone's getting the heat into those tyres. You should know by now, Rick, that this place is a feeding ground for the commentator's curse. If we say something's going to happen, chances are it will happen, either as we say it or just after.
Absolutely. We invented the commentator's curse here at Tier 2.
Yeah.
As everyone takes their places on the grid. LB on pole, of course, Darth Helios right behind. I'm going to ride on board with Pommy Alex in P7, so I'll update you after the first few corners on his progress.
Oh, I'd love for it to change the camera angle, please, F1 2020. What is going on here? As we get this race underway, perhaps, there we go. I'm focusing on Lawrence because I'm waiting for those red lights. There's some weird stuff going on. We are off. There was no lights for me. But look, LB gets a decent start. After Hilius tries to follow him through as well. His camera angles are a bit rubbish. Meanwhile, J-Man and Lawrence have a bit of a tangle. J-Man is round. There's a bit of carnage going on. A few cars running wide as we go along. But the top 3 all the way cleanly now as we dart up the hill through Al Rouge and Radion Muhiti chasing the Williams and the Alfa Romeo as well. Looks like Lawrence is on the attack, as he know he's not, but LB is under attack from Daft Hilius, who takes the lead of this race at the moment. It looks like we're 4 or 5, 3 cars wide, perhaps behind, a little bit further behind. There's a lot of action going on right now. Femi Frostmaster leads the way in P4. Down the inside goes the Williams of Fido Man on JBS Steve. No move done there. Lots of wheel-to-wheel action. Side by side they continue to go on the run down towards Brussels. Pommy Alex nowhere to go, forcing the Red Bull off the track, and he's in the wall. Little Manny Man, he's somehow still in this race, but he's got no wing.
Yeah, Crozer just turned to the right to avoid the car. Sorry, JB, or was it Pommy? I think it was Pommy. Turned to the right to avoid the Ferrari in front of him and left Lil Manny Man with nowhere to go. It's a disaster start for Red Bull. But I can tell you what happened to Mr. J-Man. JBS Steve is off at Pouon. So that's another victim of lap 1 so far. Darth Nihilius has also spun in the McLaren. He's all the way down to P7. It's going to be further down, I think, to P9 in the end, P10. And he's got a lot of work to do now as well. But yeah, a crazy start to Tier 2 in Belgium. I can tell you as well, Mr. J-Man got absolutely smashed by Crozer in turn 1. I think it was Crozer who braked too late and hit the Red Bull. So carnage to start off this race.
Yeah, stewards are going to be busy this evening. I think there's a few timing errors going on. Classic Codemaster stuff, so we'll wait to see for those to fix themselves out. But Lawrence and LB are about 1.9 seconds ahead of the rest of the chasing group. And Lawrence looks like he's setting his sights on the Aston Martin already.
Indeed. A few cars in. Oh, JBS Steve's out! He's gotten on the curb. At is that Curva Grande or something like that? Blanchimont, that's the one. Yeah,
safety
and
car,
that's going to be a virtual safety car. Unsurprisingly, I saw it happen. I just rode on board with him. He got on the curb on the outside, and that was game over. So disaster for Ferrari, and not a good start for Red Bull either. But I think Mr. J-Man got away without damage, thankfully, from that Tier 1, the Turn 1 incident.
Yeah, I think he did. No damage that I could see, but there might be some non-visual damage. We've already lost one driver. A shame for for JBS Steve crashing out. Very fortunate not to have lost little Manny Man as well in that incident at the beginning. But LB doing well to hold off. Daphne Elias made a great start, but is finding himself way down the order.
Did you see if Daphne Elias spun or?
I'm not sure. No, I caught it as he was recovering the car, but it was definitely toward the campus chicane, I think.
Yeah, I didn't catch it either. He seemed like he was well ahead of LB, so I don't think it was tomfoolery. I think he just
green flags again, and Lawrence is already on the attack as they run down to Blanchimont. It's going to be side by side for the two cars as they come through. Very good. Lawrence tucks in behind, does the old switcheroo. Looks to the outside of the bus stop. That is contact between the two of them. They keep going on the racetrack side by side through the bus stop. They go. Look, LB is forced deep into the corner, loses the rear a little bit. This is inviting Femi into the action as well. Lawrence sits on the outside now as they come down towards the source. DRS is now enabled. So the chase down the Kemmel Straight will be interesting as LB leads them up the hill for the third time this evening.
Lawrence is going to have the DRS all the way up to the right-hander. He nearly spins it at Radion, just has to lift off to avoid it. But here comes Lawrence round the outside of LB. That's going to be a simple move, I think. Femi's too far behind to make any headway, and Lawrence into the lead of this race. Yeah,
Lawrence leads the way, and using that medium tyre advantage to his benefit at the moment. But the question still remains is, when is that rain going to turn up in this race? Will it turn up at all? Sometimes it says wet to dry to wet, and then the rain never shows up until after the race has ended.
Indeed. Further back we've got Tier trying to get past the slow Haas of Sox. Tier going very deep though there at I think that's No Name Corner on those hard tyres. So struggling to get them into shape. A Sox very out of shape at Pouon, and here comes Tier. Is he going to go round the outside? Surely not. He goes for it nearly, but he has to back out as Sox takes the racing line, as he's entitled to do.
Yeah, certainly. Very no need to risk it so early on, but the more he sits behind that car, the more opportunity Mr. J-Man has to catch up and maybe set up a move on the Williams. Here he comes as he's come out of Stavilo 2. An excellent run through the corner, and he's already ahead as they come through Blanchimont. And Red Bull making up a place, and he'll be setting Sox up in his sights, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I think Sox is going to be dispatched pretty quickly here by the Red Bull. Lawrence sets the fastest lap up in front, but LB's still going to be in DRS range. He's only 5 tenths behind, so do keep an eye on that race for the lead of this race. There's contact between Sox and J-Man. I don't know if J-Man got damage, but he went into the back of the Haas, I think not expecting him to be so slow on turn 1.
Here comes Muhiti. He's made a move on Femi and he's made it stick very early on down the Kemmel Straight. J-Man a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Already some penalties being dished out, but Muhiti on to the podium provisionally in that Alpine at the moment. His teammates a couple places behind. This is an ideal start for the Alpine team.
Absolutely, and Mr. J-Man is now past the Haas of Sox, but I don't know if there's damage. Tears spun just behind them on those hard tyres. He's not having the greatest time. Crozer gets himself a penalty. No, he's out. Crozer's out. And that's at Radion as well.
Safety car.
Full safety car indeed. And he's crashed, it looks like the same place that his teammate crashed in qualifying.
Wow, double woe for Ferrari. Both cars now out of this session. And the race neutralised. This will only bring that rain ever closer as we slow down the race. And it'll be interesting to see if anybody pits in. If the rain is due to come still, will anyone bother?
Indeed, yeah. It depends when it's coming. If it's still coming later, you might see the medium tyre runners come into the pits. But yeah, that is heartbreak for Crozer. That's 2 races, 2 DNFs for him. And yeah, he's going to really want to bounce back in Saudi Arabia as Lawrence into the pits. I don't know what tyres he's going to go on, but Muhiti in as well. So obviously that rain, they don't think that rain is coming soon enough.
No, certainly not. I think it'll be hard to the end for every medium runner coming in. It looks like it is. Lawrence on the hard tyre. Alpine, they've got the hard tyre ready for Muhiti. As LB is now your race leader, following that Aston Martin safety car around.
Indeed he is. Lawrence coming out just behind Sox, which is actually a really bad deficit for him, because he's got to clear that Haas now when the safety car does come in. Muhiti out on hards as well. Tyr has stayed out on the same set of hard tyres. Mr. J-Man has pitted for a set of hards as well. As the top 3 though staying out on that set of tyres they started with.
Yeah, I think it was not a bad call staying out on the current hard tyres. If, as a safety car, as I said, will bring that rain a bit closer if it does indeed turn up. But some drivers who will be happy to see this safety car, Daphne Hilius, both the Red Bulls in fact as well. They'll be happy to see the safety car out on the circuit. It'll bring them all, excuse me, it'll clump them all back up and bring them back into the race as we look set to restart it.
We do indeed. It's going to be out for another lap and a half yet. As everyone catches up, Mr. J-Man and Lil Manny Man, the last 2 to catch up to the train. I'm just going to go get a drink of water while we're under the safety car, because I am coughing.
Yes.
I'm back. And, seems like Sumo's gone as well. So,
I did very quickly go, but yes, still under safety car conditions. Didn't even complete the lap while we were both briefly gone. But have a quick look at the penalty situation. I'm sure these are all just 3-second time penalties. They are
into the pits.
3-second time penalties. Tears in the pits then. Maybe a set of mediums for Tyr. Wouldn't be a bad call. Let's see what he does, the Williams. He's got quite a funky helmet, does Tyr?
He does, yeah. It's I can't quite decide whether it's funky or awful.
Bit of both. I like the designs on the top there, I can see, but I'll never forget my helmet, my 2020 helmet. What was it? It was like the, what do you call it? The pop art style helmet with the little racing driver on the side.
Yeah.
That was my helmet for 2020, and it's a shame that you can't make your own helmets. Really, a lot of other racing games have much more in-depth customization, and it's just a shame that F1 don't seem to want to get in on that, really.
Well, they did give us three new helmets in the patch before last. Everyone received 3 new helmets, and they looked really good. They were really nice helmets, and we were like, "Oh, thanks very much." And then the next patch, they removed them all because obviously it was a glitch. And I just got a sort of mail from Codemasters in game today saying, "Yeah, it come to our attention that everyone's been given these 3 helmets that were supposed to come out in later editions of the Podium Pass." I was like, okay. And we're going to be selling them in the Bitcoin shop over the next week. And we've given everyone 2,000 credits, which is enough to buy 1 of them. So
Wow.
there you go. So, I mean, a bit of a gesture of goodwill from Codemasters, but... you know, if you've given them to us by accident, then let us keep them, mate.
Yeah, certainly so, but we're going to get underway again as the safety car light is turned off and it starts to zoom away as LB lets it go, warming up those tyres. He's got Femi Thrustmaster and Pommy Alex behind him. Femi perhaps didn't expect to see himself up this high at this point in the race, but anything can happen. Yeah, Codemasters don't care at this point, to be honest, Lifebout, and we've known that for a very long time. Otherwise, we'd have a stable game, wouldn't we? Anyway, LB could go any minute from about now. The safety car is just peeling into the pits. You can see that yellow dot there along the start-finish straight, and there he goes. He's gone already, very early from LB, and different from what we've seen a few times here at Spa already in Tier 1. But it's a very clean getaway at the moment, all going one by one as they come through the bus stop and down toward the source.
Pommy Alex nearly hitting Femi into La Source, braking just late enough to give the Alfa Romeo a bit of a sniff at the rear end there. But up they come towards Radion as Femi goes deep. Could this invite an opportunity for the Australian on the run towards the next corner?
Hitty 3-second time penalty for him, and Lawrence is going to dispatch of Sox very quickly and set his sights on Fido Man already. Can he go down the inside in towards Lecom? Not quite. He had a little look, but he wasn't quite close enough to get alongside the Williams, so he's going to have to try and find somewhere else to make that move. Tier and Little Manny Man, meanwhile, they have a little bit of a skirmish of their own down as they come towards Brussels. It's side by side, inside for the Red Bull perhaps. No, Tier's going to go all the way around the outside on that off-camber corner and keep the Red Bull behind him for the time being. Back toward the front, Pommy Alex has got his sights set on this Alfa Romeo. Needs to dispatch of him quick, lest the LB get too far ahead.
Yeah, and Pommy Alex, he did have a go at Femi. They were side by side through Lecom, but Femi held him off. And as you say, LB now 2 seconds ahead, and that gap is only growing. So Pommy, I think he is faster than Femi at this point in the race, but he's got to prove it by getting past him.
Red
his sock spins!
Backwards.
And he's out!
That's going to be another safety car, surely. Unless
it is.
It is, yeah, there we go.
It is.
And you can see the cloud. There is much less sun on the circuit now, and that rain is looking more and more likely.
Well, we got about 3/4 of a lap of green flag in.
Drivers. What is Fido Man going to do? Does anyone dare risk going on intermediates now? I think it would be a foolish bet, but if it works out.
I mean, it's the sort of thing we would see people like Lalo Mado do last season.
Yeah, it was no hards for the Williams.
Yes, nothing like that today. This J-Man is replacing his front wing. So obviously there was some damage to that Red Bull from his contact with Sox earlier on. And he's now repaired it. And out the pits he comes on a fresh set of medium tyres, which will go to the end.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a skirmish between himself and Tyr, Mr. J-Man. I don't know if he picked up damage in that, but those two were going through. We may as well take this opportunity, guys. We've got another safety car. We're going to be here a while. Let's have a look at some helmets, shall we? We'd like to do that here when you and I are in the commentary box. And we'll have a look. I think LB, it's got a plain grey one. Oh, it's got some green on it as well.
Yeah, it's got some green outline around the visor, it looks like.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. I think I might have seen this on before. I'm not really sure, but I'll give it a 5. It's a solid design.
Yeah, I think it's a 6.5 from me. I'll be a bit more generous. Femi Thrustmaster, the Cameroon colours, very patriotic. I really like that.
Yeah, actually, it does look very nice. The metallic as well. I wish you could do that. I wish you could change the textures of the paint on the helmets and stuff as well. Like there's so much that could be done. Like I love a livery design. Anytime there's a livery design going on, I'm there. I make a nice livery. I take like 7 or 8 screenshots and I dump them all on the Discord server because I just love it that much. And I think it would just really be a bit more of a personal touch to everything if you can really personalise your helmets and stuff like that. But, yeah.
Customization is something I always look for in games. I do love a bit of messing around with colours and patterns and getting a bit of designing in, so it would be nice if it was a little bit better on F1. They did make it so that you could change the texture of car liveries this year, but yeah, nothing so much for helmets or suits or anything yet. So maybe we'll see.
One day, but I'll give Ferries an 8. That's a pretty cool helmet.
Yeah.
Pommy Alex, I think this is a helmet I've seen before from Pommy, the orange and blue. It's the Golf McLaren colours. I quite like it. I'll give it a 7.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. As Pommy, interestingly enough, comes into the pits, I assume for a set of mediums. No, it's a set of intermediate tyres for the Australian, the reigning champion.
Wow, I think he thinks that rain is coming at the end of this. This could be interesting. I'm not seeing any spits of rain. I'm more focused on seeing what LB's helmet is. I think it's just plain black.
Lawrence's helmet, it looks like it. Yeah, just pure black. I can't see any other patterns.
I'll give it a 5.
I respect it. Yeah, I'll give it a 5.5. Darth Nihilius, again, Mexican colours, very patriotic.
Yeah, I like its good design as well, simple. I think I prefer this similar design to Femi's, and I prefer Femi's, so I'll give it a 7.
Seems reasonable. Mahiti gets 0.
Mahiti, 0, default 0. Tyr, the controversial one here. I feel like I like the colour pink. I think it looks pretty cool. I'll give it a 6.
I like pink as well, but not with light green. I don't know. I'll defer to your judgment with the 6 on that one.
How about little Maliman 0, Feederman 0, J-Man 0.
3 zeros.
Wow, 3 in a row. That really brought the helmet review to a halt. But we like Pommy Alex's as well. So well done, Femi Thrustmaster. If you don't win the race today, you at least win the helmet review award.
That's what it's really about at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's it. You know, wait till you see driver of the day. Anyway, Spotlight safety cars, evidently so. Lifebout, evidently so. Doesn't want to talk about Elite either. I can't imagine why.
I'm not seeing any rain, Sumo. I don't know about you. No. I'm not seeing any drops.
Ghost, hold your horses. I can see some rain.
Oh no, I just saw a drop as well. Has Pommy Alex actually done this incredibly well? What a gamble it was from the Australian, but it could end up winning him the race here. Look at this, everyone else on slicks, and here comes the rain.
It is just coming. You've got to look real careful, but you can see it. riding on board might be your best bet, but nobody peeling in to the pits as LB gets his race started. Yeah, a few drivers in. This could be the masterstroke from the reigning champion here in Tier 2, who's played a blinder at the moment. We'll have to keep an eye on him if this does seem to work out for Pommy, but everybody else in front of him has come in. He's got a clear track.
He does indeed, but it is still definitely slick conditions at the moment. But at the end of this lap, I think that's going to change, because it's such a long lap around here that the weather can just change in the space of one lap. I think he might have played a blinder here. Everyone else into the pits. It's only the top 4 still on the slicks, and Darth Nihilius putting Femi under pressure, but I mean, 15 seconds, Pommy Alex, that's how much he has to Lawrence. It's 4 seconds to the rest, but that rain is coming down fast.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it's even appearing on the surface of the track now, so I think once the DRS is disabled, that is it confirmed for the wet weather, and these guys will definitely be finding their way in, but at the moment, as it stands, provisionally, your race leader is Pommy Alex, all the way from the back of the grid.
And he's now catching Tier, as Femi Thrustmaster putting pressure on LB further up as they go through Sector 2, nearly making the move, in fact, as LB is struggling in these conditions, as Femi Thrustmaster around the outside maybe, as surely they're all going to come into the pits at the end of this lap, but Femi is going to want to be one place ahead when he does. Pommy 3.8 behind Tier. He's still catching them. He's catching them fast now as Darth Nihilius gets involved. All 3 of them so close together. Be careful, guys. It's very slippy out there as they come through down towards bus stop.
Femi Thrustmaster will want to try and get ahead. Darth Nihilius looks to the outside. He's going to have the door closed on him. All 4 of them into the pit lane, then nose to tail in as they go along a procession into the pits. But Pommy Alex is going to take the lead of this race after pitting at just the right time.
What an absolutely incredible decision from Pommy Alex. We thought he was crazy, but here he is leading the race, and it's going to be by over 15 seconds. Wow.
This is why Pommy Alex is a champion in my eyes. He makes decisions. Sometimes they don't work out, but when they do, it puts him, let's see the gap, 13.6 seconds ahead of our current championship leader. And this race is his to lose now.
He is going to be praying that we don't get another safety car, because that would ruin all of his hard work. He'd still be in front, though, as Lil Manny Man now putting pressure on Femi Thrustmaster as he can't decide where to go. Femi plants his car in the middle of the track, and Lil Manny Man couldn't decide whether to go inside or outside, so backed out.
Darth Nihilius in the spray of the Red Bull at the moment as well. That's surely to be a little bit distracting as it goes. Oh, there's a Tier down the inside of the McLaren. They're going side by side through Brussels, and they're going to continue to do that. So as they come through No Name, but the McLaren has the better line, and a Tier has to yield.
Oh, that was quite the send from Tier. He nearly made it work. Darth Nihilius threw poo on Tier. Loves a bit of wet weather, he does. But I can't believe I've just said that. He's definitely going to crash now.
What have you done? What have you done, Ghost? How many times have I said this? I want Tier to finish a race.
Well, Darth Nihilius still putting pressure on Lil Manny Man, who's now really lost out to Femi Thrustmaster, who is now putting pressure on the Aston Martin of LB. Pommy Alex's lead has come down by nearly 2 seconds in one lap, so I don't think it's over yet, Sumo, as Darth Nihilius could be going down the inside here of Lil Manny Man. There's contact between them. He's made it work. Lil Manny Man forced off, but I don't think there was much to be done about that. As Tier now down the inside of the Red Bull. What a move from Tier. He's up to P6.
Wow, he's really loving it out there, stretching his legs. His teammates now going to go on the attack on the Red Bull too as they come down toward La Source. That gap's come down a bit out the front, but it's not too much to go and have a look and see what's happening. The battle here is for P5 at the moment.
Certainly is. It's a 4-car train led by Darth Nihilus, and I think they're going to catch up to Femi Thrustmaster, who's now gotten himself a time penalty. So as it stands, he would drop behind the McLaren as Tito Man putting pressure on Lil Manny Man on the run to Lecom. He's not going to be able to make a move, but the Red Bull very aware that the Williams wants to get past.
Yeah, certainly. So Fido Man really trying to get through,
Oh,
join his teammate
LB's
up
out.
there. LB's out of this race. He didn't finish, and it's another safety
It's
car.
another safety
Pommy
car.
Alex, no!
Oh no, Pommy Alex! His incredible decision torn apart by LB, who again, that's 5 races in Belgium and 5 DNFs for the Aston Martin driver. He does not like it around this track.
LB, I feel your pain. Do not worry. There was a time when France was my mortal enemy, and I would not finish races in France. I think I went about 4 or 3 visits to Le Castellet, and didn't finish any of those races. That was weird. But another safety car number 3 in this race, and we just can't escape safety cars at this track.
We certainly can't. I mean, the problem with this track is wherever you crash, it brings out a safety car, because the walls, while they don't look, it looks like a very open track, and it is for racing, but if you crash, the game, you're too close to the track, and it just straight away brings out a safety car. And as such, a lot of the time it can bring out more safety cars than any other track, because one mistake, and because of the high speed nature of this track as well, a lot of corners, one error, and you're going to be bringing the field close together again. Yeah,
certainly so. But Pommy Alex will catch up to the safety car and will watch in awe as his lead of 11.7 odd seconds comes down to nothing.
And Lawrence is looking like he could make it 2 wins from 2 here. I really hope Pommy's still finished on the podium, because I'd love to interview him about that decision after this race. But yeah, we'll see how it happens as the race pans out. There's still another 9 laps to go after this one.
Yeah, and Pommy's no stranger to the front of the grid, so he'll certainly put up a fight for that place, I think. But Lawrence was looking very quick, but the great equaliser is the rain, and it will certainly prove to be that, I'd imagine. And keep an eye on Tyr. I don't want to mention him too much more, but he was looking very quick, is all I will say.
He was indeed. I will say, if Pommy Alex does end up not winning this race, it's LB's fault.
Yeah.
No doubt about that.
Not a doubt at all. Rick says, LB, you muppet. I had faith in you, LB. I thought you could do it. I believed in you. I was giving you some optimism. And Ghost, the seeming pessimist, has decided that, well, LB, you decided really to bottle it. And yeah. Here we are.
Well, one man that's going to be frustrated as well, not just Pommy Alex, is going to be Femi Thrustmaster, because he had a decent lead on Darth Nihilus, but now that 3-second penalty, as it stands, is going to drop him down 3 spots. So we'll wait and see how many spots it will end up taking him down in the end, but at the moment, it's looking like Femi is in a rough spot.
Yeah, certainly. So that penalty's really going to drag him down, but I'm sure that over the course of the race there might be a few more penalties perhaps to be doled out. It's very easy to get some track limits violations around here, especially through Sector 2.
Yeah, exactly. And the exit of Radion as well, the on the left, it's easy to just not quite turn enough for fear of spinning, and then get yourself a track limits warning on the left-hand side. So Yeah, it's very easy to get yourself track limits warnings around here. So I'm not surprised to see the number of penalties today.
No, I mean it's no Canada or Spielberg, but it definitely does throw up some penalties in there. Get another view of that amazing helmet on Femi Thrustmaster has got there. As we watch the safety car go around for the third time in a row, and Aston Martin leading the way, but there's no Aston Martins left that are competing. So you take notes, LB. That's how you're supposed to go around the track. So Burnt Mylander showing you how it's done.
Yeah, all you need is just a different car. All you need to do to win an F1 race is to just drive around in an Aston Martin sports car, and you can be absolutely sure that all the F1 cars will just follow behind you, thinking you're the safety car, and then you just drive around the whole race and win.
Yeah, or be in a Red Bull under safety car with some lapped cars ahead of you.
Yeah, that'll do it as well. Yeah. You know, all you need is someone to say it's motor racing, and talk to your uncle.
That's it. Safety car in. Pommy Alex is going to be the one to lead us around and restart this race. It is wet conditions here. Cannot escape them at the moment. One day we'll have a fully dry race, I'm sure. But for now, it's wet again over here in Tier 2 as well.
I do wonder if the rain is going to get worse as well. If we'll see wet tyres towards the end. It seems inters at the moment for sure, but I do wonder if that rain is going to come down anymore.
Really back in the grid up here is Pommy. The guys are really bunched up and they're raring to go. Only 9 cars left actually, and you can see them all on the screen if the shot angle is correct. But Pommy Alex can go from about now. Any minute he's really getting some heat into those tyres at the moment, and he's weaving and weaving and weaving. Not gone yet. Personally, I'd have chose to gone now, but I think he has gone just now. Has the Alpine in car number 60? Is it 69 or 89? I can't remember. But anyway, it is 69. As he has definitely gone. Now they go one by one down towards the source. Mr. J-Man, Mr. Muhiti has spun. That's a shame. Easy to do out of bus stop. That'll be him. Well and truly gone, but Daphne Hillius has made a move on Femi Thrustmaster, maybe sending him very wide, or Femi sending himself wide. He's lost the place to Tier now as well, so Femi down towards 5th, so those guys will be chasing after Lawrence and Pommy, who make their way up. Alrouge and Radion, and Lawrence, maybe a moment, or maybe just trying to get out of the slipstream for a moment.
I think it was a mistake from Femi. Just outbraked himself into La Source as Lawrence putting the pressure on Pommy Alex already, as Daphne Hillis tries to get involved as well. Tier is right behind the McLaren too. Don't forget about him. As Daphne Hillis with a small error. Tier maybe going around the outside, not quite, as they now approach No Name on the run to Pouon.
Is it me, Ghost, or does Lawrence look like he's struggling? He looked like he took a very compromised line into Lake Com and has given Pommy Alex a decent lead.
Maybe there's damage on that Mercedes.
Maybe, or maybe he's just not acclimatised to these conditions. Fido Man, meanwhile, gets past Little Manny Man just before Pouon as they go through, but there's cars very close to each other. It's Daphne Hillis followed by Tier and Femi Thrustmaster. These guys following these guys all one by one as they come through the campus chicane there, down towards Stavilo corner now, chasing after Lawrence, who is chasing after Pommy Alex, but is falling away quickly. Pommy has seemingly got his head in the game, head screwed on, and is already pulling away.
We know how good the Australian is in the wet. He's shown it time and time again, and he could be showing it again here, but I think Lawrence, once he gets his foot in, once he understands the evolution of the track, now it's in this wet weather, he's going to catch back up, I'm sure.
Tier is all over the back of that McLaren. He's really shown his dominance out in the wet weather at the moment. They're pulling away from Femi at the minute. Mr. J-Man, meanwhile, is fighting with his teammate, it seems. Just a few tenths behind him for P7 at the minute, but he's got a penalty, does he? So Little Manny Man will benefit from that we watch as Tyr chases up Eau Rouge once more.
Yeah, here we go through Eau Rouge and Radion. Tyr looking a bit more confident than Darth Nihilus there, but not close enough to make a move. Is that Muhiti spinning again? It is at La Source. He is having a nightmare return.
No way. Come on.
What?
It's another safety car.
Oh, come on, Codemasters.
Seriously?
Really? Goodness me. I promise you the safety car is on reduced. I promise you.
Oh, it's just painful.
It is painful. It really is. I think this will is sure to be the last one, you would have thought, but it's just so frustrating.
Really is. Must be even more frustrating for the drivers out on there. Yeah. I know it feels to have safety car after safety car after safety car, and you try. It really disrupts your flow in a race, I feel.
Yeah, especially at this track, when you're stuck behind it for 5 minutes. Yeah. It can be really draining. Yeah, there's not long to go in this race, but it has felt like a real slog because of all the safety cars, and that's just ridiculous. I mean, I'm glad Muhiti can get himself back in the race, but he's spun, he's lost his front wing, he's not out of the race. Why is that a safety car? Especially when it's on reduced. It's just insane. It's ridiculous.
Virtual at the very least. Right.
Yeah. Virtual makes sense.
Yeah. But even then, the virtual safety car's broken as hell. But we won't rant about the safety car being broken. But I will take a quick comfort break.
That's no problem at all. That's painful. That is painful for Muhiti. Yeah, that's not what you want to see under the safety car, getting yourself a 3-second time penalty. He's had a horrible race, but he's still in it, unlike 4 of his rivals, so fair play to him. He is, as long as he gets to the end, he will score 11 points, even if he finishes last.
I am back, and we are still behind the safety car. Muhiti in the pits. Wing change for the Alpine, and he'll have to catch right back up, which might extend his safety car to be even longer, but I hope and pray that this is the last one.
It should be. As soon as it gets to lap 20, there can't be another one, because the game won't allow it when you're 2 laps from the end. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see. I do pray that we don't get another one, but I mean, we shouldn't have had this one. He only spun. He lost his wing, yes, but I mean, how is that a safety car? I feel like it's just bugged on this track. I feel like on this track it brings it out way more than at other tracks.
Yeah, I think so too. It's just, and it ruins the race. It's the shortest in terms of lap count. I think, and it just makes it even worse. Like, you can't even 25% races around here are impossible because any safety car just ruins the race.
Yeah. And Muhiti's coming around Puon. The rest of the train is a couple of corners ahead. I don't know if it's going to be too late for him to catch back up for it to be in this lap. Might be out for another one. But on the plus side, if it is out for another one, that means that there's less chance of another one before the end.
Yeah, certainly so. Keep eye. Will it come in? Oh, I don't think so. No, it's coming. No. It's staying out. Would have come in by now.
And while you were gone, by the way, Sumo, Muhiti managed to pick himself up a 3-second time penalty under the safety car, so he's going to be kicking himself for that, because it's basically going to put him out of this race, as Tito Man is also on 6 seconds, but Tito Man is 3 spaces ahead of him, as Tito Man in fact comes into the pit, so maybe not. Maybe there's damage to that Williams as well. Or maybe just coming in for a fresh set.
Fresh set of inters, perhaps, giving him a slight advantage. Maybe some wet tyres. It doesn't look like it's got any worse out there. It is a fresh set of inters. So hoping that they can give him a bit more of an advantage as he goes around. But that 6 seconds of penalties is going to be a big hindrance to the Williams.
Yeah, it certainly is. I think we'll have to consider, as Mr. J-Man spun, Mr. J-Man has spun under the safety car and he's lost his front wing, and that could extend the period even more if he comes into the pits. Although, no, he's going to catch up to the field, so Mr. J-Man has just binned his race away, and he is now a certainty for last place.
Such a shame. I was looking in such good standings following on from last week, but the wet weather and a few big mistakes have really cost Mr. J-Man this evening.
Indeed they have. He was pretty good in qualifying. He was P3 on the grid. No, P4, because Lawrence beat him to the punch. So it was a decent showing from him, but it's just not been a race to remember for the Belgian at his home race. But at least Lil Manny Man, his fellow Belgian teammate, running in P6, which will become P5 as it stands.
Oh, well, I've realised that I've not been recording either the race or qualifying, so I can't put them on the shared channel. Whoops. That's alright, it'll be somewhere. I'll try and link it somewheres so that it can be on there. I'm sure we can figure that one out. It's not too huge of a problem, but the safety car's finally in, and somebody with a huge problem is Mr. J-Man, because he's got a wing to change and a safety car that is coming into the pits.
Yeah, he's just going to have to drive around very sadly in that Red Bull for another 4 laps to end off this race with a certainty for last place, as I really don't think another safety car is coming. Touch wood.
No, but Pommy Alex is going to get this restart right, and I'm sure he'll try and do exactly what he did last time and try and open up that gap. But Lawrence will want to minimise his mistakes, want to try and use the knowledge that he's gained of this track already in these conditions to try and get ahead of the Australian, who looks to be on the front foot, and I think he's gone. Ghost, he has, as they come down towards the bus stop, and he's caught Lawrence sleeping a little bit there. Tear is all over the back of that McLaren of Darth Nilius, who's gone very deep through bus stop, and he can't overtake just yet at the moment. He stays behind quite cleverly, but it's going to open the door to Femi now. He gets back on the power, can't get ahead of the McLaren. It's such a shame because he got a great run on him. The McLaren goes deep through Le Source though, so this will set Tear up for a good move as they run up the hill.
Yeah, Lawrence has lost out to Pommy already. It's nearly a second as here we go on the run towards Eau Rouge. Tito Man getting past Muhiti further back, but Tear nearly into the back of the McLaren as they go up Radion, and that's going to cost him on all the way down to Lecom, and he's not going to be able to make the move here. But what about Lil Manny Man on Femi Flossmaster? Here we go. Down the inside goes the Red Bull. There's a bit of contact, but Femi survives, thankfully, and no harm done.
I realise I've not had MFD or anything on for the majority of this race. Maybe I turned it off by mistake or something. I swear I turned it on, but either way, we continue watching the action. Femi Fussmaster all over the back of Tier. These three fighting once more. Fido Man trying to make up a place on Little Manny Man at the minute. They're coming through No Name now. No time really gained for Fido. He's got that time penalty as well. He's got 6 seconds. Remember, he's on fresh intermediates, so this will help him as we going through these latter laps of the race at the moment. Meanwhile, Tier chasing still Daphne Hilius, and Pommy Alex managing to keep Lawrence at bay for the while.
This is for a podium position as well. It's high stakes for Tier, as Daphne Hillis is between him and would it be a maiden Tier 2 podium? I think it would be for Tier. So he's half a second behind the McLaren at the moment, and he's got another 3 laps to make this move.
Yeah, he certainly does. I'm certain he could do it. He's looking incredibly quick in these conditions. He's just got to catch Daphne Hillis at the right point, and look, he's I think he's so much quicker coming out of the bus stop there. He's got seems to have so much more confidence on the throttle as they come down. They're very similar on ERS at the moment. J-Man's out of the race. That won't be another safety car finally. So the race will go on as planned at the moment, but 4 tenths is the gap.
Yeah, that's a shame for Mr. J-Man. I don't know if he's going to get classified for that either, so that's such a shame. He's going to miss out on 11 points. But Tia, again, not close enough, but who is close enough? It's Lawrence, round the outside of Pommy Alex, on the run to Lecom, and he's made it work. Lawrence back in the lead of the race. Pommy Alex is going to have to try and find a way back through.
Oh, Pommy Alex looking very shaky. I don't think he was expecting that move from Lawrence, the championship leader at the moment. Pommy Alex is going to have to try and do all he can to catch back up. Tia is dropping back as well from Daphne Hilliers a little bit. Daphne Hilliers now catching up to Tia. A Tia 3-second time penalty. That's going to stop his bid for the podium at the moment. Pommy Alex coming through Pouon, and Lawrence, now that he's got some clear air, is starting to look like he might pull away.
Indeed, he might, and you have to think, if it wasn't for that final pointless safety car, that Pommy Alex had this in the bag, because Lawrence was about 2 seconds behind, not catching up. But now he's had a chance to get acclimatized with the conditions. He is looking very fast once again, and Daphne Hillis on the back of this as well. Don't forget about Tia. If one of these guys spins, he will still be on the podium, but that 3-second penalty is going to cost him a chance at winning it on track.
Daphne Hillis is looking in the hunt. He's looking very quick going through Belgium, using a lot of battery to catch up to Pommy Alex at the moment. Pommy all over the back still. He's still close enough to Lawrence. He's got to try and put some pressure on. Try and make that Mercedes make a mistake and maybe capitalise on it. There's still the run through Kemmel though, and it's not over yet.
Indeed, it's not. There's 2 laps to go. It's far from over. Tia is in this battle in case anything goes wrong. Tito Man gets another penalty further back. He's up to 9 seconds now. But Daphne Hillis nearly losing it at Radion.
Lawrence had a poor run through Al Rouge and Radion as well. He was a little less confident. He's not going to affect him too much. He must have so much more less downforce on that car. But here comes Daphne Hillis. He has a look to the inside. Doesn't quite make that move on Pommy Alex at the moment. He's still close though. Tia is lurking behind them as well.
It's not raining. It's gone back to dry, Sumo. The track is drying out. It's definitely not soon enough for a set of slicks, but I mean, surely we can't. Could we have DRS on the final lap?
Possibly so. Pommy Alex is looking like he's found a second wind here. He's all over Lawrence. Lawrence might be struggling a little bit in these conditions. Now the track is drying out at the minute as well. We could have some last lap excitement here in Tier 2. Pommy Alex all over the back. He looks to the inside. He goes for the move through the campus chicane there. They're going to continue to go side by side. And here's contact. Lawrence is spun round into the wall.
And Lawrence is going to be furious because that is all on Pommy Alex. He's just hit him on the rear as they come through. Pommy Alex is going to get a visit from the stewards. Here comes Daphne Hillis down the inside of Pommy Alex for the lead of the race. And he's made it work. The McLaren into first place. Pommy Alex just behind him. And Tia now round the outside of the Alpine as they come towards bus stop. Tia could be on for that podium after all as they come round the final corner. Here we go, final lap about to commence, and Femi Thrustmaster's in this battle now as well.
He certainly is. Daphne Hillis leading this race now. There's still one more chance, one more lap for somebody else to get ahead. Pommy Alex perhaps, but he'll be certainly visited by the stewards after that incident. If I was Lawrence, I would not be incredibly happy right now. But anyway, Tia hunting down the Australian. He's got that penalty to contend with, but it looks certain for the podium as nobody else is close enough to make up those places. So around the outside goes Tia. A simple move for the Williams as it goes. There's no more rain on this circuit, but the track is still incredibly wet at the moment.
It certainly is. Daphne Hillis still leads this race. He doesn't look like losing it. Tia right behind him though, and if it weren't for that penalty, he'd still be in with a shot of winning this race. But at the moment, Pommy Alex is just trying to stay with him and maybe get past him and have a go at Darth Nihilus at the end, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it as Tito Man gets past Little Manny Man further back.
Tito Man in the other Williams car. Still 6 seconds to deal with those. So Little Manny Man will gain that place back, I'd imagine. But we're watching the battle at the front as it continues to go on. Tier is looking to get at least on in the front of the track as they cross the line. But I don't think it's going to work out for him with that penalty at the moment. Darth Nihilus is
Femi
pulling away a
Thrustmaster.
little bit as well. Femi Thrustmaster gets ahead of Pommy Alex now. Penalty as well, so Pommy will drop. Pommy will go up to P2 if things finish, but Femi makes a great move at the final few minutes of the lap, maybe in an effort to try and get ahead of Tier.
Yeah, maybe so, and it's going to be down towards bus stop now. It's going to be Darth Nihilus round the final corner. What a race it's been, but the McLaren takes the victory here in Tier 2. Tier comes third in the end. Femi drops to fourth, Pommy up to second, but I think that I don't think that's going to stay the way it is after the stewards' room is taken into account. Lawrence will be rightly furious about what happened there, but everyone coming across the line, I have to say well done to everyone who finished the race. That looked like absolute hell out there.
Yeah. Wow, it certainly did. I'm going to have to start thinking of some questions. The game gives Little Manny Man driver of the day in that Red Bull at the moment, but it is going to be... it is going to be well, we'll decide that a little bit later after some interviews, but our man on top, Darth Nihilus, the reserve driver from Tier 1. Could this be his start of a Tier 2 campaign, perhaps? We'll have to wait and see, but we should probably move over quickly, Ghost, to the thingy party. Oh, how do I do that without stopping recording? Try and do it quickly before the results. There we go. Right. So we've moved over to the party. I hope Ghost is here. But I'll quickly run you through the race results. Darth Nihilus claims a maiden win here in Tier 2 after a dramatic end to a race, with Pommy Alex in P2 with his fate yet to be known as the stewards are looming over him. Tier rounds off the podium with Femi Thrustmaster P4 and Little Manny Man rounding off the top 5. Fido Man sits in P6 with Muhiti P7, Lawrence P8, Mr. J-Man and LB round off the top 10. Sox, Krauser and JBS Steve as well as Manny Man, Lawrence and LB all not finishing the race, with Lawrence likely rightly furious.
Yeah, everyone who's just joined the party, go into the party and click party audio settings and make sure allow your voice to be shared is on always allow, so that your voice will appear on the stream. Make sure you've done that, and then we'll get right into it. So, Sumo, I don't know if you want to ask Darth Nihilus some questions.
Yes. Gosh. I feel like I'm underprepared for this, but we'll just fly off the cuff. It was quite a dramatic race, Darth Nihilus. I don't know if you I don't know if you've already got your things set up. I'm sure you have. But maiden win in Tier 2. How's that feel?
Oh, can you hear me, guys? First of all,
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Yep.
yeah. Oh, it was really stressful. Like, I got a good start, got past the Aston Martin, and then binned it. I don't know how and why, but first lap, and I was like, oh my god. But thank goodness the safety cars and the rain pulled me back in, and I had to do some risky moves, one in Blanchimont against a Red Bull, and then keep myself there until Lawrence unfortunately lost it. It would have been really hard to catch him at the end, but I had really good pressure from Tier at the end. I'm happy not to be in it at the end.
Yeah, it was a tricky race for you. We did wonder on lap 1 whether there was some tomfoolery or whether you just binned it on your own, but it sounds like you just spun it. So what was going through your head then? Were you expecting safety cars today? Because there were a fair few of them, perhaps too many, given especially the last one. But yeah, what was going through your head at that point, and how did you recover mentally and get back in the zone?
I mean, after that, it's just a matter of keeping your head cool, like not getting too frustrated. I knew there would be like some safety cars, especially with the rain coming, so it was a matter of pumping quick laps. Thankfully, the safety car and everyone pitting let me go advance through the field a little bit, and then the safety cars during the rains were very fortunate because space in the rains was not as good as Pom Alex and Lawrence, but at the end when it got dry again, I was quick again.
Yeah, we did notice sort of in the last couple of laps it was getting dry again. It wasn't quite dry enough for DRS to get enabled on the last lap, but it was clearly enough for you to get back into a comfortable place and being able to challenge back for the lead. And then, yeah, of course, the little tap between Pommy Alex and Lawrence definitely helped you out. But it was a great move on Pommy Alex on the run to bus stop to take the lead. So well done today. And I think just a final question. How did you feel about your first race in Tier 2? How was it?
I feel much more competitive, but I still think both last races in the rain have been more of an outlier, because the pace in the dry is good, but as soon as it starts raining, it gets really hard for me.
Yeah, understandable.
You certainly didn't let that stop you from winning the race, though, there, buddy. Well done today. Great showing out there. We'll move swiftly on.
Thanks, Wes.
No worries, dude. We'll move swiftly over to Pommy Alex, and there's one question, Pommy Alex, that is hanging over us. I think we all know the answer to said question, but how scared are you of the stewards?
Nothing to be scared of, because it's definitely coming my way.
Yeah.
I've accepted that. That's all right.
Could you run us through what happened?
I just had way more pace, and I thought he was going to speed up, and I just nudged him in the back, and he went off. There was nothing. He took the inside line, I took the outside, and thought I could just stay behind him, but he was going way slower than I thought he was. So it's just my bad.
Yeah, that's pretty standard.
It's alright. It's frustrating. I'll end up 6th, but whatever. What at 6th or 7th? Oh well. I mean, should have won the race. I feel like there was 3 races in that race.
Yeah, pretty much.
Super frustrating. But oh
Well,
well.
I suppose the next burning question is. Well, we thought when you came in for the intermediates, we thought, is he crazy? What's he doing here? He's gone for the gamble. We can't see any raindrops. Does he know something we don't? Obviously, you did. So what made you go for the gamble, and were you surprised to see no one else go for it?
I mean, I know my pace at Spa isn't fast enough. That's why I started with hards, gambling on the rain coming, and then me just pitting once. And then I thought the same thing when we were during the safety car, whichever safety car that was, 2nd, 3rd, whatever it was. Rain was imminent, according to Jeff. So I just took a punt. And yeah, it gave me a 13-second gap, which was quickly abolished by another safety car, which was lovely.
Indeed. Well, I mean, it certainly worked out, and you nearly ended up winning the race, as you say. But yeah, I think that incident towards the end definitely going to take you off the podium, I think, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's all right.
But yeah, well done today anyway, especially for that incredible decision to go on the Inters earlier than everyone else. But you know, it happens, and I'm sure you and Lawrence will be back in the fight next week.
It is what it is.
It is indeed. So we'll see you then, and congrats on your podium for now. Sumo, I'll let you move on to I think the man that everyone wants to hear from. It's Tier 727 in third place.
Tier, the win perhaps that could have been today slipped away with a penalty there, but you started P9 and you ended up on the podium. You want to walk us through your feelings on your race today?
Well, as per normal, I had no practice, so as the race got on, I got more confident with it. And then it rained, what obviously we know I do like, but often bin it. But this time, I just felt quite confident today.
Yeah, we could certainly tell in the car.
I kept, well, you probably saw I was even putting too much foot down at certain points, correcting it, but.
Yeah, I mean, well, what we were watching you coming out of the bus stop chicane, and you just seemed to have a little bit more grip and a little bit more confidence coming through there, and you could really see that. And I think it's a great job that you've managed to survive the commentator's curse for once. And
yeah, I'll watch it back in a minute, see me mention me.
Yeah, that's it. And it was a great performance to end up on the podium, and I'm sure you're very proud of it.
Yeah, I mean, that top four up there all seem to have similar sort of pace and pulling away from the rest of them, but it's hard to overtake them in a way.
Yeah, certainly is.
But no, Groch, really enjoyed that one, for once.
Well, congratulations. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, is that your just mixed the words maiden and podium. Is that your maiden podium in Tier 2?
I think it actually might be.
Yeah, well, congratulations.
First
well
season
done.
in it, I think I was almost on podiums. I put it in the water many times again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, after that podium, I think you're going to be sort of well in maybe even the top 3 spots in the championship. So the dizzying heights. So well done on that.
Yeah, maybe I should start practicing more.
It would certainly help to put in the practice, but well done for today.
Yeah, I think it would.
I think that's going to conclude the interviews, guys. Unless there's any more burning questions you have for our drivers.
No, I think that's all I have to ask for the podium finishers.
Amazing. So we've had a great race, another wet one here in APPF1, and I'm sure that we will be in for some more great racing, whether the weather holds off or not. Where are we heading off to next week? Let's have a little look. Next week we head off to Jeddah in Saudi Arabia, so hopefully a fully dry session on the 31st of January.
Yes, indeed. It's going to be, well, I mean, it would be quite the shock if it rained in Saudi Arabia, but regardless, I do hope we get a good race, a good dry race, because as much as rain is fun every once in a while, when you get it so many times in such a short space of time, it does get a bit tiresome.
Yes.
So hopefully we get a good dry race next week. But there was something else I wanted to say. I can't quite remember what it was, so I'm just going to leave it.
Oh, not a worry, guys. So a big thank you to everybody who watched the stream tonight and tuned in and left a like on there. We got 9 likes on the stream, and I think I saw 9 people watching at the highest point. So well done for everybody to do that. I'm not sure I've got much else to say, guys. Any final points to add?
Driver of the day.
Driver of the day, yeah.
To work out. For me, it's between a controversial pick, despite obviously him crashing. It wasn't his fault. So I think for me, it's between Lawrence and obviously Tier for me. So I don't know who you're happy to give it to, Sumo.
Well, considering that Pommy Alex has got a penalty coming his way, and I think you'd expect Lawrence to be running at the front, challenging for the race lead, and for Tier to have put himself in the prime position to get an almost guaranteed P2, I think Tier gets driver of the day for me.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. So driver of the day for Tier.
There we go. So well done to Tier Driver of the Day and a maiden podium as well here in Tier 2. But that is going to wrap everything up. Please do make sure you support the channel, subscribe if you've not done so already. Go over to Ghost's channel as well, as he's got the onboard stream and you can see some of the onboard action and perhaps see a bit more perspectives on certain parts of the racing. Make sure you head over as well to APPF1 Racing League's channel. It's newly formed and we're putting up as many of the videos as we can. This one won't be up there because I forgot to record, but I will try and be on that in the future. We've got not highlights, but we've got the recorded action from Zandvoort in Tier 1 a couple weeks ago on there, so please do make sure you go check that out and subscribe to that as well. That's probably going to be a lot of racing videos will end up in a bit more condensed packaging with quali and races split up. But anyway, I'll stop rambling on about that. We'll see you next week at the same time for some more Tier 1 when we go Tier 2 when we go to Jeddah. But for now, I have been Sumo.
I have been Ghost.
And we will see you next time and hope you have enjoyed. Goodbye for now.